White, orange, and teal. The physical real, you know it's a deal. It's blood, sweat, and tears. All up in his huddle with water to cook up a meal. My coaching into it, the combo was chill. Play action to chase, got hunger to feel. The cheetah is loose, he's going for blood. The end of the race only went for the kill. Miami, the city, the county, the block. We steady impact, tail in the lot. Defense is strong and hard as a rock. Holland's a lock, and next one's a spot. Getting too hot, so turn up the fan. You look to the crowd, see Jimmy and Bam. Martin, Joe, and Sosa the mans. Your fellas, roll the clip, only fans.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to OnlyFans, a Dolphins post-game show presented by Sports with Sosa. I'm your host, Joel, aka the Delusional Dolphin. And now, before I introduce the guys, just want to remind you to go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have subscribed, drop a like and leave a comment down below. Now, without further ado, I got the host of Sports with Sosa with me, aka Soso. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Cheers to the Dolphins making the playoffs, baby.
Cheers, baby. And we got Martin from Tune Now and the All Fin podcast. Martin, how you feeling, boy?
We made the playoffs. I don't know how else you can feel. Yeah, that's slow clap. That's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can do.
That's not the only thing we can do, player. We could do one more thing too, boys. I just want you to lend me your ear for a second there. You guys ready?
Sure.
Let's hear it.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
This dude's putting on the helmet.
I thought that was your role. I thought that was your role.
Miami, we're talking Super Bowl because we're the. That's crazy.
I don't know about the Super Bowl, but I don't know about the Super Bowl. I don't know about the Super Bowl, but it is nice to finally make the playoffs after missing the playoffs from last year when we had a team that was not as good as this one, but capable of making it to the playoffs.
Que alivio. What a relief. Oh, man. I'll tell you, boys, this whole last couple of weeks, everybody's been asking me, hey, man, are the Dolphins going to win? Are the Dolphins going to do it? Are the Dolphins going to make the playoffs? Honestly, I didn't know what to answer, because we've been covering this all season long. We've had a good idea of what's been going on. And we went on a 5-game skid, man. 5-game skid where 5 weeks ago we were being talked about like Super Bowl contenders. And we saw our season just slowly fading away from us. And lo and behold, we stuck around. We have a backup quarterback, a rookie quarterback at that, who gets his first win. We get an ugly victory in an ugly game, and we make the playoffs after we get revenge on the Jets. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, boys.
I mean, I'm sure that Martin feels great because his homeboy got the win today.
Yeah, again, I'm feeling great because we got the win. Obviously, you would have liked a better outcome in the sense of you don't want it to come down to a 50-yard field goal. Obviously, since he's 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 this year, Sanders. So yeah, I'll take the win for him, and I'm happy for him. It's always good to get the first one out the way.
Yeah,
it is. It is.
And you know what? For us, right, who have been critical of this team throughout the progress of the season, like I said, the ultimate goal when we look back at it in the beginning of the season was make the playoffs. How we look going into the playoffs might have been a secondary goal, but we definitely did the main objective this year, which was make the playoffs. And we don't know what happens once you get into the playoffs. All we knew is that this team was talented enough to get there. And the fact that we've made it, in spite of injuries to Tua, Armstead, Jones on defense, like you name it, all the guys that have missed time this year, for us to still make it just shows you that there is enough talent on this team to make it to this level at the very least.
Oh, man. I mean, I could cry, boys. I don't even want to talk X's and O. I just want to talk about pure emotions here. Really. I just want to sit around in a circle with a guitar. So does anybody know how to play a guitar? Can we play Kumbaya?
No.
Because, I mean, I want to sit down and nitpick and talk about, Garrett Wilson having a day on our secondary and our secondary making just dumb mistakes and holding guys and grabbing guys at the wrong time, or our D-line, pushing and shoving and still not being able to get to Joe Flacco when we needed him, third down, backed up in their own territory. I could do all those things, but why? The Dolphins are sitting here victorious. We got the last second safety, which changed the score from 9-6 to 11-6. And really, I'm elated, man. I mean, we really didn't know. Last week, everybody's talking about, is Tua going to be here in the long term? Is Mike McDaniel going to be here in the long term? Who's going to be around next season? I think right now, all those conversations have been laid to bed with this Dolphins victory as we look forward to face the Bills now, boys.
I wouldn't say anything was laid to bed, but yeah, you obviously want to get that win, because without this win, I didn't see McDaniel coming back. That's just me being honest, and I've said it
Nah,
before.
I think
No, 100%.
you got to make it come back, right?
You're gonna
Because-
lose 6 straight to go from 8-3 to 8-9, not make the playoffs, and
Granted,
think you're
but-
gonna keep your roster, keep your job with Sean Payton on
If you
on the
lose,
possibility.
your starting quarterback for whatever reason, he
games.
lost him. He lost him. You know what
2
I mean?
games.
Hey,
get
like
it.
the great Kanye West, and actually I shouldn't
Did
say
you just
great,
say that?
but
Yeah,
like,
Hey,
like
he's a
like-
legend. Hey, I don't
like
care what
the
anybody says.
Kanye West, the musically talented genius, not the anti-Semite. Kanye West said they wanted to know what I would say if I didn't win. I guess
TMZ's
we'll
about-
never know. All right,
TMZ
so
just got that one line that you said. The great
Big
Kanye
time.
West is gonna put that over everything, bro.
we're never gonna know
Joel's
now. As
about to
far
be
as
famous.
he's gonna be gone now because of a loss. You know, we put the bleed. You know, we stopped the bleeding. We get a dub after 5 straight losses to teams that we could have beat. We should have beat. You know what I mean? Whether we lost it for one reason or another, they were all single possession games, and this was a single possession game, but it was an absolute must win, especially with the Bills helping us out, doing their job against the Patriots. Which, by the way, the Patriots put up a hell of a dogfight against Buffalo. So shout out to Buffalo, who we now have to face in the first round of the playoffs. But had it not been for them, we would be looking at another team in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, if we're going to be critical of the team, right, then we also have to praise the team. We saw Mike McDaniel really stick to the running game today and protect Skyler as much as he could, right? One time for as much as the first time, but it was the most critical time for him to do so, right? And he was able to see that and really project that into the game. 16 carries for Jeff Wilson before he got hurt. 11 carries for Mostert. Both of those guys had over 140 yards together. That's just the effort that we needed to see when Tua was in and the offense was flowing. The fact that we can see it now is great. And another thing, we have to give Skyler his props, right? He played not his greatest game, but he didn't mess it up. He wasn't the one who caused us to be in bad positions. Yeah, did he hold on to the ball a couple of times? Where he missed a guy downfield? Maybe. But that's also his inexperience, right? And not being able to see downfield as much or knowing what's down there. But all in all, the kid played great. You know,
I gotta agree with you, man, 100%. Because you can look at his stats and say, all right, 20 for 31, 152 yards, and that's it. That's really all he had. Didn't really scramble for anything. Didn't really make any crazy plays. Didn't throw any touchdowns. But the number one stat that I'm looking at here is 0 interceptions. You know, for a kid like this, that hasn't had a whole lot of play time this season, and when he did, he had an injury. Been up and down, and now he's facing a win or go home situation. To go in there and not make those crucial mistakes when we don't need them to happen. I mean, you got to give the kid credit, man. He went out there, he led the team, and then that last drive, if he's not the one throwing that ball out there and getting us into field goal range, then we never have a chance to win the game. So you got to give Skylar Thompson his props in this game, man.
And playing with no Armstead, Hill playing 50%, I would say.
Yeah,
he
he
looked
was
like
in
he
and
was
out.
out there as a
Yep.
decoy sometimes.
Yep.
If it was, I'm just being realistic. If Tua had that situation, he gets all the excuses. So a rookie quarterback to come in, only throw 150 yards, forget that. Anytime he had pressure, they were in his face, it was about to be a sack, he threw the ball away. What was one thing we always say about Tua? He holds the ball, he takes the sack. It ends up being a throw like into the sky. Hey, let's see what happens. So as a rookie quarterback, to have that knowledge to be like, look, I can't take a sack here. Let me get this ball away. I will take that any day.
No, for sure. And look, in the beginning of the game, especially in the first quarter, there were those times where he was trying to extend the play a little bit too much, right? And that's just him trying to be the man and being the quarterback and trying to make something happen. I get that. But you really have to commend him for his progress throughout the game, right? To say, I'm in a situational type of game now where I can't afford to make mistakes. I can't afford to take certain chances. Let me hand off this ball. Let me do this. And there was one particular play where I saw him have that self-recognition, right? It was a handoff play. The running back missed the read, and Skyler, instead of like panicking or whatever, just ran forward. He tucked it and ran forward. It ended up getting only a yard, but that's a positive play. That's on
the last drive, right?
Yes. It's a very head forward type play because it just shows you that he was in the game. right? Mentally, he was in the game at that point, and that's great for him.
Sure, absolutely. That's fine, that improvisation, but also we got to be concerned with the issues on the offensive line. We didn't have Armstead. We had Little starting in his place. Connor, our center, he ended up having a bad snap that went way over Skyler's head, and we lost
today,
20
Connor
yards. That we were driving, that kind of killed all of our momentum, and I think I don't know if we settled for the field goal there, if we had to punt it away,
We had to punt that one.
we did end up having to punt. It took us out of the field goal, huh? Well, yeah, man. I mean, that sloppy play is concerning. Obviously, now we're talking playoffs, because now it's literally win or go home. There's no more. We can lose close margin and feel good about it. There's none of that. If we lose, we don't feel good. True. So we need to tighten up, man, in this next week. Now the question's going to be, is Tua going to be healthy enough to play? And if so, who's going to be guarding him? Is Teron Armstead going to be playing? How's the rest of our O-line looking like? What do you guys think?
I feel like McDaniels and like the team in general were like, we can probably sneak our way into the playoffs, right? And if we do, then we'll bring back Tua, we'll bring back Armstead, we'll bring back all the guys who might have been questionable, right? And say we're going to go all out and try to win this game in this tournament. It just so happens now that we face a super hard opponent in the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they bring back Tua. Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
I think although I'd rather see maybe a healthy Bridgewater. If I don't even know if Bridgewater's healthy. If Bridgewater's healthy,
dog.
No. Realistically speaking, I would love to say, hey, Skylar Thompson, give him another chance. But realistically speaking, if Tua's healthy enough to play, you're going to put him out there. But I don't think we go out there and be like, I need you to throw 30 times. You need to continue this philosophy of run first. If we need you to pass, then we pass. But it's not like this guy's going to come back, throw 40 times, and we're going to win the game. Look what happened last time we played Buffalo. It was a close game, but because we ran the ball. True. Not because we were out there throwing. Can we go back, hopefully with a healthy Armstead, and put up the same output? Obviously, hopefully better with a win. But realistically speaking, you got to go out there, run the ball, and keep Josh Allen off the field. That's what you're looking to do.
Speaking of Josh Allen, we know he's lethal not just with his arm, but with his legs. And there was a play today, man, where Garrett Wilson got loose. There was 4 defenders that had him wrapped up, and he still got away and was able to get out, get an extra 10 yards out of the play. That's not going to fly when we play Buffalo. Josh Allen's a big boy, and he likes to take those hits and run guys over. So we need to make sure we're on our P's and Q's, bro, because that game against Buffalo, especially right now with the whole DeMar Hamlin and what they're playing for, and those guys, as far as in the locker room, those guys are playing for a lot right now, especially how they got snubbed last year. They're coming back with a vengeance. So sure. They're probably just counting us out already. They're probably thinking this is an easy win. This is the game right here where the Dolphins can really turn their season around, is in this playoff.
Can I ask you a serious question? So go ahead, Steve.
No, go ahead.
Realistically speaking, who are you feeling comfortable with? Maybe not 100% Tua, or going and bringing him back Skylar Thompson next week?
Well,
since you're saying no Bridgewater.
For sure, no Bridgewater.
I'm with Soso there. No Bridgewater. At this point, Tua, he had his concussion-like symptoms. He was concussion protocol. It wasn't pretty. He's had his history this year. I understand why Mike McDaniels would have taken him out. But if he's healthy and nobody's saying, hey, there's a concern for Tua, I think we ride with Tua. You don't have the season that he's had, even with all the lows, and not give him the chance to perform in the playoffs. Because
though he wasn't even a consideration this week.
Absolutely. I mean, why would you, if he's healthy? I mean, things can change week to week, day to day in the NFL.
We don't know, because obviously I'm saying usually when it's a guy like that, he's out of protocol, he seems fine, but we're gonna wait for next week. That's not what we heard. He was shut down from the beginning for. It was either Bridgewater or.
But I think it's what Soso was saying. We were waiting to see what was going to happen now. And now that we got into the playoffs, we know what our destiny is. Now we can go for the balls to the walls, all out plan. We need everybody, all hands on deck. We need healthy bodies across the board. So cortisone and cafecito for everybody Monday morning, and get ready for this playoff game against Buffalo, because we can do it. We've beat Buffalo already this season, Sure. But we're gonna need a collective team effort. And to answer your question about the quarterback situation, Tua, if he's healthy, I'm riding Tua. And if Tua is not cleared for this game, I'm feeling more confident in Skyler, man,
100%.
than I am in Teddy.
100%. We're all in agreement here that Teddy hasn't played up to par this year. So for us to throw him into a playoff game with zero rhythm, it wouldn't be even close to having a chance of being successful in Buffalo, right? my opinion is if Tua is even close to 80%, right, then you start him. Because I felt like the reason why they didn't play him these last 2 weeks, even though he probably cleared concussion protocol, was only because of the look that it had. It was the third concussion. They had missed it. It had happened in game. It looked bad afterwards. He didn't remember certain things that the coach had talked to him about. So they were really like, you know what? We got to be extra, extra careful because we're going to lose this guy if we do throw him out there too soon.
But that's why it's a little different. When you hear somebody say 80% physically, you're like, all right, you can do it. When you're not 100% mentally, that's when you're kind of changing your outlook on the percentages. You get me? That's why I bring up the question, not for any other reason. Give Tua his shot. If Tua's 100%, yes, obviously.
Even mentally, even if we're putting it mentally, Tua at 80%.
I'm not a doctor, by the way, guys. I'm just saying.
none of us are. But I'm just saying, if Tua's mentally in it, even 80% to match his physical, that's still better than what Skyler has, right? Because at the very least, Skyler's, Tua's not going to, we know that Tua doesn't fold under pressure. Say what we will about him. He has bad games, all this stuff. He doesn't fold under pressure. It's not like he's going to get scared and have happy feet out there or nothing like that. I don't know if Skyler's going to have that because we've never put Skyler in that position. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like this whole season has been all about Tua, right? Whether he's played good, bad, he's in, out, concussion, out of concussion. It's been all about him. So this last quote-unquote game of the season that could be potentially against the Bills, Tua has to play, man. And we have to see what he has.
That's fine. No, again, it was just more of a question. And for me, seeing all the pressure that the Jets brought to Skyler this week, for him to stand in the box, only allow one sack, throw the ball away. If Tua starts, great, but I'm still comfortable. And again, it's crazy to say. I'm not saying he's going to win us the game, but I feel comfortable with him not going out there and making mistakes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. And the main thing is getting Armstead back. No, man. The main thing is getting Armstead back. If Armstead is back, we know that the offensive line is going to look good. And either quarterback that plays is going to increase their percentage of being successful by at least 10 to 15%, right?
Yeah, and another guy we're going to hope that is okay is Raheem Mostert, who exited the game today and didn't come back. And it was the Jeff Wilson Jr. and Salvan Ahmed, who had a big rush towards the end of the game. He hadn't played the whole game, and they brought him in. He got a big carry. He got some more yards that ultimately led to that field goal. But we need, like I said, all hands on deck. Tyreek, I know he was dealing with some stuff. Jalen Waddle's hurt at the end of the game with that horse collar tackle. He got hurt or something like that. We need everybody to, rest up, relax, get ready for this game. We're going to war with the Bills. So
that's not the easiest thing to say, but that is what we're going to be holding next week. And is that a Sunday or Saturday game?
I think it's a Saturday game.
You know what? Let's look it up right now and get that information for everybody. So
that would be good if it's a Sunday game. One more day,
of rest, right?
Is that out already? Is that schedule out?
I think it should be because we're the only team missing to be locked in.
Correct. Everybody else is pretty much locked into their position. And you know what, Martin? You bring up a great point. Having that extra day of rest, especially for a guy like Skyler or a guy like Tua, right? To have that extra day of rest, extra day of game film, extra day of reps, that could be huge heading into this playoff game. Because while we may not be expecting the Dolphins to pull off a huge upset, they're very capable of winning games. And we've seen this team play up to the standard of other teams, right? And especially if it's a tough team. We've seen them go up against Buffalo and hang in there with Buffalo, right? When we run the ball, our defense can get a stop. Our offense doesn't turn the ball over, and we give ourselves a shot. For me, I think if we give ourselves a shot by playing clean football or as much clean football as possible, that game might just be closer to winnable than what we think.
The thing we saw a lot of today, which happened again the first time we played the Jets, penalties killed us. Penalties were all over the place. Even though it was only 4 or 5, it was literally in the worst situation. I think it happened twice on a good play that we ended up getting a first down, brought us back. One on a second, made it a 3rd and long. It was that if we, again, like you're saying, clean it up. Whoever's quarterback has to get the job done. Has to be a running game to me. But I think our defense deserves more credit than what they've gotten this today because they kept us in this game. Skyler didn't do enough to put us in positions to score, but they didn't put us in positions to allow any points and put them in bad predicaments. It really was a well-rounded game between the special teams and and the defense. And I feel like that's what we're gonna need going forward. I don't think we're gonna get, you can't confirm that Tua's gonna be there. So right now it's like you need the defense to step up as they kind of have these last couple weeks with him being out.
We need it, man. All hands on deck. I don't have the exact time or date for the game just yet, but it will be next weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. I believe it'll be Saturday, but we'll keep you guys posted on that. Fellas, any other thoughts before we move on to our 3 and out?
Skylar Thompson got his first win, man. I'm happy.
Hey, and Mike McDaniel won his first challenge as an NFL head coach.
I know. Wow, the first one was. I get why they did it. It was just.
I think it was a bad call. I think the first one was a bad call.
No, but it would have been great. It would have been great if he would have pulled that off, because it was honestly, we would have got the ball on the 30-yard line.
Sure. I understand it at that point in time, but the second one that he won was that was more reasonable. So shout out Mike McDaniel.
That was more like, thank God, I need a one.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably felt the pressure of not getting one the whole season and was like, I might as well just go for it on this last one.
0-5 isn't that bad if you think about it. I thought he had
terrible.
more challenges. Well, I don't know what the hell what the average is of you getting a challenge 5 in a whole season. That's not that much, is it?
I mean, I feel like he hasn't been challenging enough. The fact that he was 0 for 5.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they were saying that there was a lot that he's missed, but only 5. I was like, all right, whatever. Like 0 for 5.
That's the point.
All right, so take us to our 3 and out.
Our 3 and out, presented to you guys by Empire Boutique. They keep your boy Drip, and the Legion of Zoom Tea is out right now, so go check them out. This is where we bring you our big 3 things that happen in the game, our oh shit moment of the game, our most improved player of the game, and also our MVP of the game. That's what it is. No, it's been so long, dude. I feel like I'm missing one. We
haven't done a 3 and out for a victory in a while. It's been over a month.
It's been a while, man. So let's just start with the oh shit moment of the game. What do you guys have for your oh shit moment of the game, Martin?
Bro, I guess it took for the end of the game. Sanders hit 3 for 3. Sanders went 3 for 3. That's oh shit to me. It's like he's been getting shitted on for a couple weeks now, and to come big like that, be their only points of the game, and be the playoff decider. Yep, that's for me.
That's a good point. What about you,
Joel? This one's tough, man. This is a sloppy, ugly game. There weren't a lot of big plays, a lot of crazy stuff that happened here, But if I had to pick one oh shit moment, it probably would be, I think, on that first drive that we had where we went for it on 4th down and we didn't get it. Because I was like, oh shit, this is what everybody's worried about. This is the typical Dolphin stuff that we do when it matters most, and this is not going to win the game here.
Right.
So I really, that was the worst I felt all game, and it got better from there on. So that was probably my oh shit moment right there.
My oh shit moment of the game was when we had them with a fumble. It was like 4th quarter, right? It was like 8 minutes left, and I was like, damn, the Dolphins, you had just mentioned to me, like, yo, the Dolphins need a turnover. And I was like, I don't know if that's likely. And then, boom, Christian Wilkins breaks into the freaking backfield, hits the running back, causes the fumble, but the guy just jumped on it. And I was like, oh, shit, that was our chance.
I don't even think he jumped on it so much as like it just fell right back onto him. Like there was 4 guys around him, and it just fell right back onto him. It was crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Let's get our performance of the game. Who would you give your performance of the game to, Joel, for today?
Man, if I'm gonna have to give the performance of the game to anybody today, it has to be Jason Sanders. I mean, easy. 3 for 3 and the game-winning field goal with the struggles that he's had as of late in this season. I mean, you really, really came through for us, Jason. So I got to give you that you got to give you your props, bro.
Yeah.
What about you, Martin?
I'm doubling up, man. That guy to have the pressure. I'm sorry, but nobody had even although Skyler knew this game counted for the playoffs, I think Jason Sanders knew there was more pressure on him than anybody today. Yeah, he doubles up on that. MVP.
I think my most important biggest performance of the game for today was Xavier Howard, and not so much throughout the whole game. It was 2 specific plays at the end of the game. The Jets had chances to get closer to field goal range to try to get a tie, and both times they threw it to Xavier Howard's side. Both times Xavier Howard was able to come up on great defensive plays on Wilson, who had been cooking him all game, and for him to step up in those 2 final moments of the game just shows you that in some spurts he can still perform, and that was a big moment for me as far as performance of the game. Now let's wrap it up with our most valuable thing. For me, it's going to be Skylar Thompson, because this man came in with a lot of pressure to go out there and win the game, not turn over the ball, not be the cause of the loss, and really put the team in a position to move forward and do the best it can. And he did that today. So for me, he's my MVP. What about you, Joel? Actually, let's flip it. Let's start with Martin. We'll finish up with Joel.
Yeah, this will be the first time I've ever done this, but Jason Sanders gets it for me again.
Wow.
50-yard field goal to win the game. That again, he's had a crucial, horrible season overall when you look at 50-yard field goals. Other than that, he's been great. But 50-yard field goals, you didn't think he would be able to do it.
Yeah, we were doubting him a lot this year. What about you, Joel? Wrap it up.
Oh man, you guys went both great routes. Those were two guys that I've been considering, both Jason Sanders for what he did with his leg and what Skylar Thompson did with his arm. But the credit is going to go to the head coach that in his first season as head coach led his team to a above 500 record and a playoff berth. This one's going to go to you, Coach. Mike McDaniel, you are our most valuable Fin for this game, man. You did it. You did it, man. I mean, you put the ball on the ground with your two best backs. They picked up over 140 yards rushing. You controlled the clock, controlled the pace of the game. You had a rookie quarterback in there. You gave him just enough so that he can get the ball down and put the game in the hands or the leg of one of our other most valuable Fins. So collective team effort, it's really hard to pinpoint, but I got to go that route for Coach Mike McDaniel for making his first playoff appearance as a head coach in the NFL. Shout out to him. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins. Shout out to you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much. Again, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, drop a like, leave a comment, and be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend. Now, this is not the last OnlyFans. It's not the last OnlyFans. It's just the last OnlyFans of the regular season.
Wow.
So we're going to, when you see us again, it will be a postseason edition of OnlyFans. All right, y'all.
I love that.
Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. But thank you guys so much again for tuning in. And until next time, y'all. Peace.